I think I just found the perfect fix for the biggest critique in Cinderella's love story. Hey, I'm Jordan, and I love watching movies, and then I like to review them by breaking them down into 3 different categories. The one thing I liked, the one thing I hated, and the one thing I would change about it. And today is Cinderella. Nope, not that one. No, definitely not that one. No, this one. With that said, go grab your popcorn, go grab that candy, and let's dive on in. I think it's safe to say that you all know the story of Cinderella, but if you've been living under a rock, let me just give you a quick little synopsis about it. It's about Cinderella living her whole life being abused by her stepmother and stepsisters, and then one day she gets the opportunity to go to the ball and she meets the prince, and well, the rest is history. The one thing I like about Cinderella is Cinderella herself. Through all the torture that her stepmother and stepsisters are giving her day in, day out, she still musters up enough hope to continue going on in such a positive light. That's such an encouraging message. My biggest critique with the world is how they paint Cinderella's success with the prince as an easy fairy tale ending. Yes, I do acknowledge that it was a little bit easy for the prince to sweep her off her feet. However, the prince was hard for the animators to animate. They had their limitations, and so with that understanding, they had to do what was best. So if you dismiss Cinderella's character as someone who just got lucky with a successful ending, then I think you really missed the point of who her character was. She spent half of her life being a slave to her stepmother and stepsisters, and yet instead of deciding to be bitter about it, she remained to stay kind and joyful through it. Who does that these days? For example, when Drizella is singing upstairs, off tune by the way, and Cinderella is cleaning the floors, she is singing along with Drizella and very happy. Or she doesn't even throw Lady Tremaine under the bus when she's given the opportunity to put the shoe on her feet. I think Cinderella should be a role model to a lot of people because she is an example of what it looks like to keep your head high when life isn't too kind to us. While the animated film couldn't go too deep into Cinderella's resilience, I do think the live action one did justice for it because in the live action you get a lot more opportunities to see Cinderella interact with her stepsisters. Also, the live action did address the lack of the prince from the original one by showcasing him a little bit more, giving him a little bit more of a background, something for the audience to latch on and actually like his character. And they gave a little bit more conflict in the pursuit of Cinderella from the prince because he had to go through his father and all the other stuff. Not only did the live action address the prince's part, it also addressed the animal situation, which is the one thing that I hated in the original one. I hated how much time was spent on the animals in the movie. I get it was probably easier to animate the animals versus a person, but my goodness, they were in the film for about 50% of the time. And the movie is called Cinderella, not Lucifer and the Mice. Of course, animation did have its challenges in the 1950s, but given Disney's high standards, I just think he could have pushed his animators a little bit more. But part of me wonders if Disney could have challenged his animators a little bit more by reducing the animals and increasing the human scenes, even if it is by like 30 seconds. So it kind of leads me into the thing that I would change. The one thing I would change is if the animal scenes were reduced, I would have loved to seen a little bit more of the fairy godmother. I think she should have had a lot more screen time. When Cinderella's at her breaking point, just crying in the garden, and the fairy godmother appears, all she does is acknowledge the pain a little bit, but she doesn't address it. All she does is tell Cinderella how she should feel, and then wipes her tears away and say, all right, time to get ready for the ball. Let's go. Bobbity boo, right there, biddity bee. But she never asks Cinderella why she's crying. In the movie, the answer to solve Cinderella's problem is to get her all dallied up to the ball. But this is where my biggest critique comes from. Her problems aren't addressed by her fairy godmother. Like, it doesn't need to be long at all. Even if there was just a short exchange of the fairy godmother addressing Cinderella's pains and just giving her emotional support, I think that would have made a huge difference. Because what would have happened there is everyone would have been satisfied that, hey, that right there is what helped cure Cinderella and give her hope. And now she gets to celebrate at the ball because the solution is not the ball. The solution is addressing Cinderella's pain that she's going through. At that moment, she is losing all hope. And yeah, the fairy godmother is saying, well, you have hope because I'm here. Like, then talk about it. Had they talked about it, I think they would have solved the problem. Overall, I really love watching this timeless classic. There's something so magical about the chorus in some of these songs that I wish Disney would implement them back into some of these movies that they're making now. Yes, that is the music of the time then, but let's be honest, they are so comforting. Like, you put on these movies and you hear that chorus, oh, it just makes you feel nostalgic. Even though the film had its hiccups due to the animation limitations, I do think the live action was able to help complete that story that the first one couldn't do. I do think you should watch both of these together to make the complete story. So, do you think I solved the Cinderella problem? And if not, let me know your solution. If you like honest movie reviews, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post every Wednesdays and Saturdays, and you can turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of them. Also, I am on Letterboxd, so I'm gonna put my username in the description. Follow along to see what I'm watching. And that's it for today. I hope the fairy godmother gives you tons of popcorn between the next video, and I'll see you then.